I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We interrupt your programming now. We will be starting the 6 o'clock news for a tornado warning just issued moments ago. This is going to be for parts of northeastern Macon, southeastern DeWitt, and western Piatt counties here. This storm has had a history of some rotation, and thus we are now streaming coverage on digital platforms, and we'll be running through the 6 o'clock newscast now here. Meteorologist Jack Gerfen and meteorologist Kevin Lighty are in the field right now. They are in Springfield. We may hear from them later, but for now we're going to talk about this particular warning that was just issued seconds ago. This tornado likely now just to the north of Argenta, moving off to the north and east. This will not include the city of Decatur. It will not include Monticello. It does not include Clinton. Rather, it's the area right along Illinois 48 between Weldon and Cisco and north and east of Argenta. This will include Interstate 72 between the Argenta exit and the Cisco exit. The storm itself moving slowly to the north and east at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And the tornado warning does include the city of Weldon, the city of Cisco, and the city of Argenta. It also is going to include Illinois 48 between Cisco and Weldon. If you're at Clinton Lake right now, that area not included in this tornado warning. This is the only warning we have, though. There are a number of other storms in the area, though, that we've been watching particularly close here. Just one tornado warning in effect right now for northeastern Macon, western Piatt, and south and eastern DeWitt County, and that is going to go here until 6:30. The storm located over Argenta, or 11 miles southeast of Clinton, moving off to the north and east at 15 miles an hour. There is a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued last hour for much of central Illinois, and that's going to include Champaign. It will include Mattoon, Charleston, Springfield, Decatur, and Bloomington Normal. But the main issue we have at this point is for the tornado warning that is located here in areas near Argenta, moving off to the north and to the east. I do want to know, just in the back control, we do have Kevin and Jack. They'll be available to talk from there, and so when they're ready, if I can set it out to them, they're going to talk a little more about this. Then I'll show some photos of this warning as I get some other alerts sent out through the app. So Jack and Kevin, we've been watching today for some of these areas of rotation. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, we are here in Springfield. Ironically, we're here programming weather radios for events just like this. But as Jacob has been talking about, this new tornado warning that has just been issued, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and step up here on the monitor that we have behind us here. Here's the thing. We're doing this on the fly. This is happening here as we speak. Tornado warning, as Jacob was talking about here, that is just west of Cisco, right there. That's I-72, that's right there, okay? There's rotation here. We've already had several funnel reports here from some of the other storms, and I just saw the picture from earlier that was actually northeast of Mahomet and over around the Fisher area of a funnel there as well. But this tornado warning here is for DeWitt, Macon, Piatt. Now, it's radar indicated right now, so we've not had any official confirmation, but this thing is rotating. We've seen these storms have these little funnels here. So right now, a huge area of concern is going to be there along I-70, right there at, we've got Highway 48 there and I-72. So you're talking about the northeastern portions here of Macon County going into kind of DeWitt County here as well, and then just kind of the sliver of Piatt County. But if you're anywhere basically between Weldon and especially kind of just south of Cisco and that general area there, that is a very large area of concern with this tornado warning that is in effect until 6:30 p.m. as it continues to move off here to the north and to the east. You can kind of see the trajectory that this may take. So down the line, listen, you just need to kind of pay attention there to Monticello. And of course, along Highway 10 there, definitely be on the lookout as this storm is going to be moving in. There are several other little cells that are beginning to pop up here. We're monitoring this and keeping a close eye on the severe weather. And again, we're actually at the Hyvee in Springfield programming weather radios for events just like this that are happening tonight. And those weather radios possibly going off here. And you need to be taking shelter if that weather radio is going off. If you're into portions of DeWitt, Macon, Piatt counties with a tornado warning, that is in effect. Jacob, you're back there. I know we've been looking at some of the different cameras that have been giving us a really good view of the storms out there tonight as well. And you've seen some of those funnels. We've had people tweeting in some of that as well. I know we've got some chasers, we've got some people, some spotters that are on these storms are going to be able to see a really clear view into just how this is developing. But this is a storm definitely to pay attention to. It's got that classic hook to it. that little bit of a notch that's showing up there. So right there, that's going to be crossing Highway 48 in the next minute or so, just north and west of Cisco. Jacob, you've got some photos for us that are coming into us. Show us what some of our viewers and spotters and chasers are seeing out there tonight.
Yeah, Kevin, there was actually a tornado reported northeast of Mahomet earlier. That storm has weakened, no longer a threat for Champaign County. We've been watching it closely. This photo came at about 5:30 via Nicole. She lives north of Mahomet, was looking off to the north and east there. You can see the funnel briefly touching down right here. Again, this tornado report from Champaign County. There is no tornado warning for Champaign County, though this storm spun up quickly, dropped a tornado, and has since weakened there. There are some other photos I'd like to show you. In fact, we've been watching this storm in particular for a little while now here, and I'll show you some photos that I have for my Twitter. This was posted earlier. You can see this wall cloud down here. If we can go ahead and bring it full, I think that'll allow us to see it a little bit better. This was at about 4:45 or so, looking west of Decatur on the carriage crossing camera. The storm itself fairly intense in nature. A little while later, this thing came darn close to making contact with the ground at about 5:15, and it has been slowly spinning ever since. Now the rotation picked up enough for this potential tornado to be down near the Argenta area. I will mention another photo came in from a friend, Andrew Pritchard. This was from near Weldon earlier, a well-defined funnel cloud that came down. This storm no longer an issue. That storm has weakened, but we've been watching this storm carefully. About 5:35 or so, we could see that well-defined wall cloud north of Decatur. That storm now over towards Argenta. Another storm chaser friend named Rob, he got this photo north of Decatur near Maroa, seeing some of that rotation as well. So we've got eyes on this storm and are keeping a close eye on it. And another vantage point, this one looking off near Mahomet, that earlier storm that had a brief tornado touchdown north and east of Mahomet. Again, I stress there is no concern right now for Champaign County based on radar. We're primarily here for this one supercellular thunderstorm with a tornado warning until 6:30. That's going to be for northeastern Macon, western Piatt, and southeastern DeWitt County here. Overall, the storm itself is slow moving. It's been about an hour and a half from Illiopolis to where it's at now. The area of rotation now to the north and east of Argenta, west of Cisco, west and north of Cisco, that is here. And so that's something that we're going to watch really closely here for a little while longer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camera real quick, and I'm going to turn our Champaign camera off to the west and see if we can get a look at it here. And before we jump to Kevin, we'll see if we can't get a nice vantage point on that sky cam. And this is going to be looking off in the west and a little more of a southwest direction. One issue we may have is the rain may be obscuring our view here. So we're watching that Champaign camera, but I will throw up the Decatur camera also. We've been having a vantage point from that, and that one may give us a better look at it. I will say, though, is this particular camera may be a little bit of an issue due to the light pollution, I guess you could say, sneaking on in. So we've got that camera up now. Let me tune it down just a little bit and zoom it out. So as we were trying to get a close look here off to the north and east of town. And you know, hard to tell at this point because of how far away the storm is up to the north and east of Argenta, but it's off in that general direction. The visibility no longer really good here thanks to some haze and some buildings that are in the way. All right, so let's bring it back to radar here and talk a little more who's in, who's out. And again, if Kevin is good, let me know. And if I'm on the floor as well, you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can see them there. I'll talk more about this storm real quick here. The tornado now, the possible tornado likely crossing Illinois 48 right now, about 2 miles north of Cisco. At this point, we can call all clear for Argenta. This is not an issue for Decatur. This is not an issue for Clinton, not an issue for Monticello. Cisco, moving off to the north and east, Weldon in the path of this. That's where Illinois 10 and Illinois 48 intersect. And eventually on this path here, we'll carry it to the north and northwest of Monticello, very near D-Land and Lodge. If you're familiar with that area right up here, there's a railroad crossing on Illinois 10. It's right by the curves there, a number of trees there before you hit the open prairies there from D-Land on points to the east. In fact, D-Land Weldon School sits right in there. Not officially in the warning, but downstream we'll be watching for the city of D-Land. All right, Kevin, if someone in this area has a weather radio, it likely went off because of this tornado warning. A lot of us went off because of the severe thunderstorm watch as well. The one we have right here in the studio went off. Jessica Coons was a little frightened by that. But these are important because they give information when needed in these types of situations. Tell us a little more about that and what you're seeing out in the field at Hyvee.
Yeah. Exactly. These weather radios here, we're in the grocery store here at the Hyvee in Springfield, and we ironically are programming weather radios here because yes, these are important, these are going off. But here's the awesome thing, we've got the equipment here to be able to also do tornado coverage
in the produce section.
In the produce section of the grocery store. The team is here. We got you covered no matter where we're at. This is definitely showing that. Let's take a look at the storm here, Jack. So this is the storm of concern that we've been watching here. So this is going to be just north of Cisco along Highway 48. We literally just drove over this area just a little ago on our way out here. And Jack, talk a little bit more about the storm here that we've got.
Well, one of the things that's kind of interesting of note as of right now is that it's a slow mover. It's only going at about 15 miles an hour off to the northeast. So in addition to the strong winds that are here with this, you've got the hail size of less than an inch, but the heavy rain, that's going to be a big factor with this as well. This storm is going to be dumping a tremendous amount of rain, and it's not moving very quickly, so it's going to be over the same spots for a long time.
Slow-moving storm, and we can put a little bit of a path on this for you as it kind of goes off to the north and to the east. So down the line, these are kind of down the line. If it would kind of stay, you know, on track there, it's going to take a while to get to places like Whiteheath and kind of Seymour here. But this is going to hug right there just north of I-72, between Highway 10 and I-72 is kind of what we're looking at with the storm. But right there's that hook, that little notch there, just crossed over 48 and is north of 72.
And this is not the first storm that has rotation with it. We've seen a number of the cells that have popped up, even though they haven't had warnings with them. We're getting pictures of funnel clouds with them. So there's rotation in the atmosphere,
yeah, and
this one has tapped into it.
Yeah, a lot of these different cells. We've actually had people earlier sending pictures in saying, hey, we've seen funnels. Hey, we've seen some of this here. But the storm of concern, obviously, is our one that is here into northeastern Macon County, heading into DeWitt County here, and eventually Piatt County as well. So that hook and that rotation is definitely showing up. So hopefully you are taking shelter. Maybe you got your weather radio. You've got your WCIA 3 weather app that you can take with you. Watch our streaming coverage. Look at the radar yourselves. A lot of different ways to get notified about these. But that was the whole point of coming out here. We knew that there might be that threat, that there might be severe weather, but we knew this was important, that we wanted to get people out here to get those radios, get them programmed, ready to go. And just so happens to be, here we are doing tornado coverage out here.
And in fact, the area more of concern for severe weather is actually a little bit more west of where this popped up too, and we're expecting more rounds here to continue later this evening into tonight, so this might be a long night for us here with tracking storms.
Exactly. Jacob, we're going to send it back to you. You got some more pictures and more analysis of what's going on with this storm, but hey, this thing's rotating out there for sure, so Jacob, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I want to talk about a little bit more of the rotational signature that's in here and the radar. We show you a lot of those greens and yellows and reds here, and that is usually the intensity of the storm. The velocity mode allows us to look at where that area of circulation is here, and it really sticks out like a tack in the sunshine here, right north of Cisco, about 3 miles north of town. These greens and reds, an indication of a very strong circulation in place, and that's very much now just east of Illinois 48. The thing to note about radar is oftentimes when we get that sweep to move on through, the storm itself has moved a little bit off to the east. So it's now likely to the north and east of Cisco ever so slightly. Areas west of Illinois 48, we can give you an all clear. The city of Cisco, let's stay in our shelter for a little bit longer here. I will mention we did get a message that there is a sirens going off in the city of Monticello. Monticello not technically in the tornado warning at this time, but it is very close and will likely pass to the north. I think on its trajectory, it will likely stay north of 72, north of Monticello. D-Land, Lodge, Whiteheath downstream will watch here. Weldon, give me some more time. Argenta, you are in the all clear. Lane in the all clear. Anyone to the west of Illinois 48 in the all clear here. But these reds and greens coming together, we've got winds going away. We've got winds going towards the radar, towards and away. Our rear flank downdraft really kicking out here and starting to show that increase in rotation now about 2 miles to the north of Cisco. I want to try and get some footage here, and if we can, we've got the graphics full screen there. This storm does have some rotation with it, and there was an EA message that came into the news account of some video, and we're trying to get that here. If someone in news is able to check the messenger on Facebook, you can send your reports and videos and photos to us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on more here because of this storm. And I'm not able to get my my Apple TV working now, so if someone in the back can check that and help us get that in. Some really impressive video of this circulation. We also have reports of rotation from spotters in the area from this. Radar is showing that very well here. We're looking at velocity now. The tornado warning continues here as the storm is near Weldon, northwest of Monticello, and continuing to be quite impressive. Let's take a look more at the actual storm tracker Doppler. When you look at that rotation, that pixelated icon was sitting right here. This is a supercell thunderstorm. Your updraft wraps around like this. Your rear flank downdraft winds are coming in here, and that's helping to produce that area of spin just to the east of Illinois 48, about 4 miles northeast of Cisco, or about 8 miles to the west-northwest of Monticello. At this point, areas west of Illinois 48, in Macon County and in much of DeWitt County, we can give you an all-clear. Weldon, this storm should stay south of you by a few miles. The tornado warning polygon was trimmed down and does include areas located between Cisco, Weldon, and Monticello. Rural areas. Weldon eastward on Illinois 10. No warning as of now in D-Land, in Lodge, and in the D-Land-Weldon High School there. Illinois 48 is in the clear. To the east, though, we're watching it. This storm now moving to the north and east at about 20 miles an hour. The warning goes in effect until 6:30. Now, a quick reset of the entire viewing area. Lots of folks saying, hey, I've got some rain. I can see on our Facebook Live on our digital platforms where we're doing our extended coverage. Also, you can pull up Facebook, head to your shelter, watch on your phone there. Some chats and some reports. There's some rain coming down in Gibson City and off towards Farmers City. But overall, the area looks pretty clear at this point. But this storm is one we're watching, and we've been watching for a little while now, concentrated right now very close to the DeWitt-Piatt County line, just to the north and northeast of Cisco. One thing I want to mention, it's important to talk about tornado safety tips here. When there's a tornado warning in effect, the tornado warning means you go to your safe place and leave a mobile home. Downstream, this may include D-Land and Weldon, D-Land and Lodge if it continues off to the north and east, perhaps Whiteheath areas north of Monticello. No warning in effect now for those areas. It's west of Monticello, but an extension based on everything I'm seeing may be likely. We encourage no travel in this area. The Interstate 72 will be clear west of Monticello. It'll be a close call near Whiteheath if this storm continues. And downstream, this may come to the west and north of Champaign. We encourage you to get in, down, and up. Think in, inside, most interior room of your home, down as low as you can, as many walls between you and the outside of your home, and covering up with blankets, pillows, a mattress, even bicycle helmet. Of course, stay until the all clear. We've given that all clear for Macon County, for Weldon and Cisco. This is primarily a rural part of northwestern Piatt County, west of Monticello at this point. And of course, you can watch our coverage right here on CBS, as well as right here on TV. We're watching it closely. Of course, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We've got meteorologist Kevin Lighty and meteorologist Jack Gerfen out at Hyvee doing a little weather radio programming on a day like today. The time is 6:16, another 13 to 14 minutes or so with this tornado warning. And it's the only storm we have, but there are some other reports that continue to come in and some video. We're going to get that soon. So Kevin, Jack, will send it out to you.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing, the storms that we have here, there's not a lot, because we've got the wide view here. That's the only small storm, and this is a really small warning now. They've really trimmed down the warning. I mean, it's a triangle shape.
It's basically just for the rotation, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it, because the only thing they have there is the tornado. They don't even have winds mentioned. The hail threat is really low, but it's a very small area. Here's the thing. There are a lot of eyes on these storms. We've got spotters that we know, and we're in contact with them. We're seeing some of the photos and videos they've got.
They got the rotation.
There's rotation there for sure, which is why they've issued the tornado warning. I've not seen anything yet confirmed from them that says this is on the ground, but it doesn't take long. That rotation, this thing's spinning like a top out there, and eventually can put down that funnel. But as we've been talking about, this is north of I-72 here. There's a small area right there where the rotation is, and we can go in just a little bit more. And so look at the colors here. See these reds and these greens next to one another? That is your rotation.
Yep, when you get the reds and the greens like that in that kind of pattern right there, that's indicative of your rotation. And I mean, it's clearly there.
Yeah.
We just haven't had any reports with that storm yet with anything on the ground just yet, but
this is a little bit more rural portion there, as you can see, because it is southeast of Weldon, north of Cisco there, but that is the clear rotation. And just got the update there. It looks a little less organized, but still there is definitely rotation. We can put a little bit of a path on this here as it kind of goes off here to the east. You're talking maybe down the road, Lodge and Whiteheath in the next kind of 30 minutes or so, if this would kind of stay on its track, but it's moving so slow. Yeah,
it's about a 15-mile-per-hour northeast track on this storm, so it's definitely very, very slow. And as a result of that, we have to wait and see if it can hold together even to those points as well.
And again, there's not a lot of other storms that are out here right now. That is the show. That one right there is the big show right now that we're carefully monitoring with the storm that's moving off to the east. The warning goes until 6:30 p.m. So like Jacob said, so right now we're at 6:19 p.m. rotation with this. And again, Jack, here we are. And I know some of you may be watching us going, where are they at right now? Yes, we are in the middle of a grocery store at the Hyvee in Springfield to program
weather
radios, ironically, because these things are going off across the area tonight.
Correct. And if it's not in this for this small area there, we have the severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 11 o'clock. So some of the people that we set up here just a little bit ago, they got home, plugged it back in, it probably went off.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
we've had about 15, 20 people come up. We've programmed the weather radios, and they bought some out here, and we still have these here tonight. But we're pulling double duty here, and we thought, hey, by the time the newscast is over, we're going to have to jet out of here and go chase some storms.
Correct.
And that's possibly what's going to happen. But we're going to stay on the coverage of this right now because this storm still has some of that rotation. And it looks like, it's barely moved. The warning was issued here northwest of Cisco, 15 minutes ago, and this thing has barely moved, a few miles here.
15 miles an hour, that's all it is.
Very slow moving here. So the good thing is the storm spotters and chasers can keep up with these storms here. So here it is, as it is making its way off here to the east. A very small warning. The big question is, what is the Weather Service going to do next? Will they carry this on into more of Piatt County, into more of DeWitt County? And that's the question.
Because the atmosphere does support rotation. We've seen a lot of storms already that have gone without warnings that have had, there could have been a couple extra warnings that we've seen out there because some of the rotation did look pretty good. But we haven't now picked up on this one. So, the question is, does it keep on going or not?
So we're going to probably find that out in the next few minutes or so.
Yep.
Jacob is back there at the station as well, getting in some more of those reports, and we're getting a lot of photos and pictures and things. And Jacob, what do you got there so far?
Yeah, we've been watching these photos and videos. This was an earlier report. This came from about 5:30 north and east of Mahomet. There was no tornado warning issued at this time. The storm didn't really look nearly as impressive, and it really spun up quickly. This was, again, came in from Nicole at 5:30. You can see the funnel there on the middle right part of your screen touching down briefly and lifted. Other spotters reported that, but by the time the National Weather Service found out, they didn't have time to get a warning issue. Now, we do have some video coming in from the Monticello area, and we're watching that now. This is of that wall cloud that is down very close to the Cisco area. That video came in moments ago. We're seeing it first as you are now. Hard to see if there's anything that's down with it at this point. Those trees are in the way, but definitely that wall cloud still present with this storm as it continues to slowly move off to the north and east. So if you would like to submit videos or photos or storm reports, and it is safe to do so, you can send those to us on WCIA Facebook page, on Twitter, and check our comments or send a message to us. We were checking those, and we've got news watching it for this one tornadic storm here north and west of Monticello. At this point, no extension of the tornado warning has happened. The storm itself right on the edge here. Let's talk about who's next if there's a new warning issued, and that remains to be seen here. This particular warning expires in about 7.5 minutes from now. The storm itself, 5 miles northeast of Cisco, about 5 miles west-northwest of Monticello. On its trajectory, it will come very close to D-Land and Lodge on Illinois 10 near the railroad crossing west of Whiteheath, and it likely will come very close to Whiteheath, potentially downstream Seymour and Mahomet. But the slow movement of this storm means it will take a while to get there. So that's something that we'll watch here. Very much as we look at the velocity, a look at how the winds are moving, the rotation's still evident here. What we're seeing is this red color, our rear flank downdraft winds really pushing out. And what that allows for is when you get a lot of fast winds on the south side here, can really help spin that up. Not nearly as impressive as it was earlier, but still enough rotation where I suspect the National Weather Service will likely extend this warning. Just for notes behind the scenes, if that does does not happen, what we will do is we will take a commercial break and then continue on with the 6 o'clock newscast. But if we do get an extension, we'll stay right here on digital platforms and on TV covering this tornado warning now for Piatt County. I think we can give an all clear in DeWitt County also at this point. There's a sliver of DeWitt County near Weldon under that warning, but this mainly now looks to be a Piatt County issue, and we're going to find out very quickly if that warning is extended for parts of the area. That's something that we'll be watching here. If you have a report from the area, we do know that sirens have gone off in Monticello. Monticello likely just enough to the south and east where that won't be a concern, but we're thinking it may be close to areas north of Monticello. You head up north and travel to Lodge to catch Illinois 10. D-Land next. We're going to watch very closely. It's close enough where we think that out of an abundance of caution, even though this polygon technically does not include D-Land or Lodge, we think that you should be considering heading to your tornado shelters very closely here. All clear for Cisco, Weldon, DeWitt, and Macon counties. This is moving off to the north and east. We'll stay north of Interstate 72, may come very close to it by White Heath. That's what we'll watch here and continue to monitor. Again, we have that video. If we can roll that video one more time here so I can get some things behind the scenes taken care of. We're looking at this storm. This came from a viewer moments ago, and we appreciate the messages and the videos that have been sent to us here and this particular storm. And the area of rotation itself does appear to be just beyond that tornado warning polygon, but we will stay here and wait to see what the National Weather Service decides to do. Based on what I'm seeing, it may be worth an extension, and if not, then we're going to find out. It could be any second at this point. The rotation not nearly as strong, but still enough where out of an abundance of caution, that may be very much what they do. Again, we are live right now. The time is 6:25. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. One tornado warning for another few minutes. The storm itself is now on the edge of that polygon. And the National Weather Service now likely identifying and evaluating whether they want to extend that. If they do, it will happen any moment. The time of this particular area expires at 6:30. We encourage D-Land, Lodge, perhaps towards White Heath to consider sheltering. Even north of Monticello, north of town, north of 72, we'll need to watch closely. So we're going to send it back out to Kevin and Jack. They're watching the storm. I think maybe we're all in agreement here. It's a wait-and-see decision what happens, but at this point, we still are concerned for parts of Piatt County.
So I would say, Jacob, that you're right. I think what's helping this warning process for the Weather Service is they've got a lot of eyes out on this.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
people they're getting real-time information.
Oh, I'm misunderstood. I thought there was a new warning that came up, but it was the
highway.
highways.
That's
yeah.
Highway 150 there. So again, here's that polygon that Jacob was showing you. There's the warning. The actual rotating part of the storm is out of the polygon.
Out of it.
So that would actually tell us that they are probably not going to continue the warning there. And those of you maybe just tuning in, which you may have heard, we're actually in a grocery store at Hyvee. We're programming weather radios out here, and just so happens to be, we're doing that here. We're taking this storm, and we're watching it. There is still some of that rotation that is showing up, but
it's a lot broader.
It's a lot broader.
Yeah. It just doesn't look to be. It's still there. It just does not be looking as impressive as it once was.
So it is going to continue to move off there to the east. You're going to have a pretty good little view of the storm there. Eventually down the Rhine in kind of Lodge and White Heath and even Mahomet, that you're probably going to be kind of carefully monitoring things. The good news is, like I said, people are out on this storm. They have eyes on the storm, and so they're going to be able to know exactly what's going on. But there are no other real storms of concern except for this one here, and this one has moved out, and I think that the Weather Service probably not going to extend this yet.
That's correct. There are more storms off to the west, though, in west central Illinois. Those are going to work into our area, which has been pretty favorable for some rotation. Let's wait and see how the rest of the evening goes, but we anticipate there being more severe storms as we go later on into the evening and tonight, too. We're
still going to be here programming weather radios, pulling double duty, probably triple duty when we leave and chase these storms back. But that's what we do here.
Yep.
We got you guys covered. Jacob will send it back to you here, and we'll have more coming up in the second half hour. Maybe talk more about these weather radios.
All right, thanks, Kevin and Jack. The good news is the National Weather Service just let us know they are going to let this warning expire at 6:30. That means at 6:30, we'll end coverage. We'll toss it a break. A couple of housekeeping notes. We did find out DeWitt County EMA said they sounded the sirens moments ago. They're asking people to stay inside and tune into the news. And we're here, but we will be ending our coverage at 6:30. In fact, we are calling all clear now for DeWitt County based on where this storm is. The warning no longer going to be an issue. There are spotters that are watching this carefully. So if there's another warning, we'll be right back here with weather. Of course, when we head to commercial break here in about 90 seconds, we'll come back. We've got weather to talk about. A severe thunderstorm watch does continue until 11 o'clock tonight. We'll also show you some more storm photos from the area. Our spotters are watching it closely, so if it starts to spin up a little more, we'll get that report and be right back here. So the extension not occurring, but still perhaps in Lodge, Weldon, maybe towards Seymour. Just keep an eye out and an ear out. Stay right here with WCIA for coverage on TV. And we'll continue to watch this one individual storm, and that's it. More storms continue to pop out to the west here, and those may become severe later on tonight. But this little storm in Piatt County now, the tornado warning is expiring in less than 1 minute from now. Here's what you can expect during the second half hour. We'll hear from Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Jack Gerfen again in Hyvee in Springfield programming weather radios. We'll have another radar check for you. We'll talk about some of our reports and videos. We'll also have news coverage and more. Of course, get more updates like that on WCIA.com. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey in the Weather Center. Of course, you've been here with meteorologist Jack Gerfen and Kevin Lighty. We're going to take a commercial break now and wrap up our severe weather coverage. If you have any photos and reports, send those to us via Facebook Messenger, the WCIA3 account, and we'll have more updates during the second half of the 6 o'clock show. Now back to a commercial break. Good evening. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We have a new tornado warning we want to talk to you about here. This is going to be for parts of Iroquois County. The plan now will be to stay on wall-to-wall coverage for not only this storm, but a couple of other storms that are in the area right now. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics full screen, and we'll show you the look at Storm Tracker Doppler radar. A tornado now is down, a tornado likely down, it looks like, near Danforth. And we can see on Storm Tracker Doppler full screen, please. You can see that warning now for northern Iroquois County. There is a couple of other warnings in place. Severe thunderstorm warning for Morgan County and a severe thunderstorm warning for also parts of Logan, DeWitt, and McLean County. In particular, we will focus on all of those storms, but the immediate attention goes to our friends in parts of Iroquois County here. Just for production purposes behind the scenes, if we can make sure and let news know we have an active tornado warning, we'll make sure everyone is in here at this time and aware of the situation. This tornado warning goes until 8:45. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Danforth, very much just to the north of Gilman and Onarga. The warning covers parts of Danforth, as well as areas south of Ashcombe and north of Gilman, moving to the east at about 15 miles an hour. This particular storm is a slow mover, and therefore not a whole lot of Iroquois County included in this. It does not include Watseka. It does not include Onarga. We think areas from Gilman to Crescent City to Danforth and areas to the south and east of Ashcombe need to seek tornado precautions now, as radar indicating a strengthening storm with that area of rotation perhaps about 3 miles north and west of Gilman. Of course, Gilman on Interstate 57 north of Champaign, where US 24 crosses between Watseka and off to the west towards Fairbury and Forest. This storm here does have some rotation. As we look at our base velocity product, you'll notice a fairly tight circulation now showing up just to the south and west of Danforth. At this time, Danforth needs to seek shelter immediately from this particular storm, slowly moving off to the east. And that's going to be a concern for us here for a little while as we continue to watch this particular storm. A storm spotter has reported a funnel cloud with this storm as it's moved off to the east very slowly. That report just coming in from the National Weather Service office in Chicago. This will include parts of Iroquois County, including Illinois 49 between Crescent City and near Ashcombe areas here. Of course, 45 takes you north from Ashcombe up towards Kankakee near the 49-45 interchange. It will will include from Crescent City northward. It does include Gilman and Danforth. We think the storm may stay just to the north of Gilman. Areas down by the US 24 exit on Interstate 57 will be in the clear, but from Gilman downtown northward, we think that there's enough indication on radar that this may very well be a bit of a tornado down potentially, crossing I-57 here in the next few minutes. The time right now is 8:04. Let's do a reset and talk about our other storms. We do have area-wide a number of alerts out there. Another severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. This is for parts of Logan, western DeWitt, and southwestern McLean County. This particular warning has had my eye also over the last 15 minutes or so. A very strong storm just to the north of Lincoln. It will stay north of Lincoln, but likely travel along and south of Illinois 136. This storm earlier did cause some wind and a few funnel reports near San Jose and the Emden area. The storm now is only a severe thunderstorm warning, and that has a tornado possible tag with it. This tag is used for severe thunderstorm warnings when an area of rotation is being watched closely, but still not likely to produce a tornado in the immediate bit. This will be for north and east of Lincoln towards Atlanta, McLean, Waynesville, and areas on Illinois 10 to the east and north of Lincoln is what we're watching with this particular storm. A lot of wind, even some quarter-sized hail reported earlier in Delavan from this storm. This warning goes until 9 o'clock. Another warning down the line to talk about now for Morgan County. This storm now approaching the Jacksonville area with 60-mile-per-hour winds. The batch of storms is now crossed through Scott County, and western Morgan County will be approaching the city of Jacksonville. Not concerned about a tornado with this particular storm at this time, though some straight-line winds are expected to come from this as it moves off to the east down Interstate 72 towards Jacksonville. Again, that warning does continue for the next little bit here. It's going to go until 8:45 for the region. Let's go ahead and bring you back on screen here, and we'll talk more and point out some things on this storm here. First off, if you're watching in Champaign-Urbana or Danville, Mattoon, Charleston, Shelbyville, Taylorville, Effingham, the Interstate 70 corridor, no storms in the area right now. Our three severe storms are located, one in Iroquois County with a likely tornado crossing near Danforth on I-57. Another strong storm with a history of hail and wind damage in northern Logan County. That storm may produce a possible tornado. We're watching that one closely. Confidence not there as of now that will be the case. And then straight line winds likely heading into Morgan County as this storm moves out of Scott County down Interstate 72. Area-wide, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch. This watch goes until 11 p.m. tonight. We think by 11 o'clock or midnight, we may very well be finishing up with our severe threat for the day today, and that's something that we'll continue to watch here. Just for some housekeeping notes, we are right now streaming on our digital channels. You can join us on Facebook or Twitter, as well as on the WCIA3 weather app. We're there now. We're watching reports come in from areas and questions. I'm seeing those, and I appreciate your questions and comments. If you have any photos or videos of damage or anything like that, and it is safe to do so, please send those to WCIA3 News on Facebook. You can email weather@WCIA.com or news@WCIA.com, or you can also submit reports to us through the WCIA3 weather app. We are watching a couple of these storms here. First off, we're continuing to watch that tornado warning in Iroquois County. It does not include a whole lot of the county here. A very slow-moving storm, but some pretty impressive rotation with that. And also in the back in a little bit here, probably a couple of minutes, I'd like to bring in our graphics of the earlier storms in the area and some of those early reports so we can show you what has happened already. At least one report of a tornado earlier in Champaign County. That's not a threat as of this time. That storm has dissipated, but this storm here looking very similar north of Gilman now. The area of rotation sitting on top of Interstate 57 between Danforth and Gilman. Ashcombe sits up here on Illinois 116 and US 45 right there. That's where the state police headquarters is. To the south is Gilman and Onarga. Highway 24 to the east towards Crescent City. You cross into Watseka, and then Highway 1, of course, the main north-south route from Watseka northward and then southward towards Danville here. This particular part of Iroquois County should be taking tornado precautions now. Here's what we would like you to do when there's a tornado warning issued. If you're in the area now, first off, you got that alert on the WCIA3 weather app. We'd like you to proceed to your safe place and leave your mobile home. This is primarily for Iroquois County. And then we'd also also encourage you to get out of cars. No travel should be occurring between Watseka and Ashcombe on Gilman and Ashcombe on Interstate 57. We should be halting traffic, getting to the nearest exit, the convenience store, and stopping. In, down, and up, particularly right now for the city of Danforth, the town of Danforth, I should say. In, down, and up. Be inside, most interior room, as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible. As low as you can, getting down, whether that's a basement, a crawl space, a low spot, even a bathtub, hunkering down until the storm passes, and covering up. Blankets, pillows, mattress are important. We also encourage you to grab a bicycle helmet. Bicycle helmets very much save lives when there's severe weather like this. If you're in a tornado warning, the #1 cause of injuries and fatalities from tornadoes occurs from head trauma. That's why a bike helmet, a very great and safe thing to do. Grab one, put it on with the kids, and head to your tornado safe place, particularly in parts of Iroquois County near Danforth, north of Gilman, north of Crescent City, and south of Ashcombe. Another look to the area. Of course, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We do have in the field Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Meteorologist Jack Gerfen. We'll come to them in a bit. If it's okay, let's go ahead and show some of the graphics if we can, if they're available. I'd like to show some of the earlier tornadoes that have been reported, earlier damage reports in the area, and if that's something that we have, let me know in my ear. In the meantime, watching these 3 storms that are out there and seeing some of those photos. These are from earlier reports here. This was a photo. Here we go. This was an earlier photo. This came from Cisco. Colleen sent that in of an earlier tornado-warned storm. We did have a spotter in the area show perhaps 2 to 3 brief touchdowns from that storm in Piatt County. Piatt County no longer in a threat now. Another tornado did touch down near Mahomet, and this was actually beyond that, near Ludlow, that rope funnel cloud that came down and is continuing to really show some of that rotation in the area. I've got a couple other photos as well. If we can, I'd like to show, there it is. That's the photo of the day there. Near Mahomet, this was at about 5:30. A brief touchdown in Champaign County. We do have information on what we've seen so far on our website, a story there. There's also some viewer photos. Of course, if you have those viewer photos, send those our way. And we have another photo here. This is another look of that tornado that touched down near Mahomet from the other side of the storm, from near Dewey. That's east of Fisher. If you drive on Fisher to the east on 136 Dewey's, that little town to the north, there's a 2-way stop sign there with Dewey-Fisher Road. The Dewey State Bank, Dewey National Bank, I should say, sits there in the corner. This is in that general area earlier tonight. Let's go ahead and go back to the graphics. We want to spend some time with our friends in Iroquois County. I understand that the Daytime Emmy Awards are on now, and we'd love to show those. I'd love to kick back and watch them too, but our job here is to stay weather aware and stay focused when there's tornadoes and severe weather. We will continue our wall-to-wall coverage for the foreseeable future here, primarily for Iroquois County, but we will not forget our friends in parts of Livingston, McLean, Logan, DeWitt counties, also towards Morgan County in the area. And so we will be staying with this coverage as it is our duty and our responsibility to stay with our viewers here for the foreseeable future. This is another look at that storm near Danforth. I'm increasingly concerned about the chance for a tornado to drop here. I have not seen any reports, but the rotation continues to show some pretty decent signs here. We've had spotters reporting a funnel cloud, and this storm is moving to the east. Other spotters are circulation due over the town of Danforth right now. Here's something else we always encourage. Whenever we have a situation like this, there's a possible tornado, or at least there's been indications of rotation and more with this storm. If you know anyone in Danforth, parts of Iroquois counties, and very much you know people in this area, do reach out and let them know via text message here. Again, as soon as the tornado warning came out, we jumped on the air, and we will stay here with the responsibility for our friends that are seeing dangerous weather, especially given the reports that are for the area. We do now have a report of a multi-vortex tornado touchdown in a field outside of Danforth. A confirmed tornado now on the ground in the area of Danforth. This now report of a confirmed tornado down very near Danforth. That's the report that is just coming in. We should treat this as if a tornado down with a dangerous situation for the city of Danforth. We'll zoom in closely here. It looks like by now the rotation has crossed I-57. It's darn close to it. You can see 22 North Road and West North Street in Danforth with this particular storm here that's down. Again, a confirmed tornado down in the ground in this area near Danforth and parts of Iroquois County, and we will spend time with that, given spotters reporting this tornado down. I'll show you some of the details in this. That polygon is now turned pink, and you can see the tornado warning until 8:45 for an observed tornado now near the city of Danforth. Gilman, we can give you an all clear if you're in Gilman proper. If you live north of Gilman on US 45 towards Ashcombe near Danforth, we need you in your shelter. Areas to the east of Danforth, stay in shelter. Areas north of Crescent City on Illinois 49, please stay in shelter as this storm passes. Again, this is now a confirmed tornado in Iroquois County, very near Danforth, moving off to the east at 15 miles an hour. There also may be a little bit of hail in this storm, though that is the least of concerns right now, and we will be staying with this storm in particular. I think I've hit the message hard enough with that storm in Iroquois County. I want to check in on some other storms real quick because there's some conversation of some strengthening rotation in our storm in northern Logan County. That now approaching I-55 to the north and east of Lincoln. If you're familiar with that area between Lincoln and Atlanta, that's old US 66, way back in the day, and that region. This storm now approaching I-55 north and east of Lincoln. Lincoln proper not included in this warning. It is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. And that's what we have for this particular area. Not immediately likely to produce a tornado like we are seeing with the storm in parts of Iroquois County, but still monitoring an area of rotation. Let's go ahead and bring me full screen here. I can see we've got the storm tracker out. If we want to double box that next in a little bit after I explain some things, that's totally fine. Kevin and Jack in the Springfield area heading towards Morgan County. This here is looking at velocity product on radar. In Lincoln, the green is going towards the radar. That radar sits right on the east side of town. If you've ever driven in Lincoln from the east on Illinois 10, you've passed the National Weather Service, that big soccer ball in the sky. That radar constantly scans our atmosphere and looks for things here. When the velocity product looks for wind going towards that green. A lot of this wind surging to the south here is what we call rear flank downdraft. And that wind oftentimes can help bring some rotation to this area, so we will continue to watch it. Though right now, the reds and greens not that bright and not that tight in that area. There is, though, another area that we'll watch here that's near the south side of Bloomington. This spot here has my eye near Randolph, and that's going to be south of Bloomington normal. Here's Illinois 51 between Bloomington and Hayworth. I'm sorry, US 51. There's Interstate 74. You take this from Bloomington, the south side here. You head out of town. Downs sits over here. A lot of houses and neighborhoods. Maybe a weak circulation trying to get going just to the south of Interstate 74, US 51 near Randolph. We'll watch this area closely. That'll be a heads up for Downs and parts of southeastern McLean County. There is no warning at this time, but certainly worth monitoring here into the region. The main focus at this point continues to be for Iroquois County. Before I jump there, a new warning did just cross for parts of central Illinois, and that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning now, and it will include parts of Cass, Morgan, Sagamon, and Menard County. This area was impacted late last night by severe storms, severe thunderstorm warnings. We're doing it all again today. This will include areas to the west of Interstate 55 in Sangamon County, Menard County, Cass County, and Morgan County, including Jacksonville, New Berlin, Loami, Curran, Jerome, Springfield, Chatham, Glenarm, Auburn. There's Waverly. Nortonville sits over here. There's Murrayville. Also, the southeastern part of Menard County here. Ashland sits right here. Petersburg sits here. You go north, there's Sherman. It's not quite to Sherman, but this warning does go right up to Interstate 55, including at least the west half of Springfield. So we'll call it all of Springfield for this severe thunderstorm warning. The main concern with this batch of storms is straight line winds with up to 60 miles per hour. And that's what we'll continue to watch here. Just noting all of these warnings, of course, crawling on the bottom of the screen, and we'll continue to do so in the area. All right, so we're going to jump back to Iroquois County and talk more about our confirmed tornado now. The National Weather Service continues to monitor this storm as it's very much near and close to this community of Danforth. Again, here's Illinois US 24. That sits right here. Gilman, Crescent City, Watseka. Illinois 1 carries you to the north towards St. Anne and Kankakee. Here's Illinois 49. That one brings you south, if you go south all the way through down towards Cissna Park and Rankin. Interstate 57. Areas west of Interstate 57, I think we can give you an all clear at this point. It is east, but not by much. Still Danforth. Go ahead and stay in your shelter. Rural areas east of Danforth, north of Crescent City, and south and east of Ashcombe. We'd like you to stay in shelter too, as the National Weather Service does mention that there is a tornado that has been reported with this storm. The signature itself, and I'll show you here, they're indicating maybe weakening slightly. And looking at this, earlier we saw those bright reds and bright greens very close to each other, an indication of a mesocyclone, an area of rotation in this supercell thunderstorm. That's not nearly the case right now, but still I think we should take note to shelter still and treat this as a confirmed tornado, given that the storm has a history of at least a multi-vortex tornado in the Danforth area. If we can, I can see Kevin and Jack. They're probably listening to me. Someone give me a thumbs up if you're willing to talk or able to. And we've got folks watching your... Okay, we do not have them yet. That's okay, but I can see them. We just can't hear them. They'll be checking in with this from Sagamon and Morgan County here shortly. Right now, of course, we are here because of the tornado warning in Iroquois County. The storm motion itself, only 15 miles an hour, a very slow-moving storm off to the east. That's why this warning doesn't extend all that far out here. As I pop back up to our normal standard reflectivity, you look at these storms, and oftentimes we have fast-moving storms. That warning polygon will stretch all the way across a county. And we also only issue them for parts of counties. So we call it a polygon. If the warning back in the day was issued for a county, it went out for all of the county. But this time, now we have the technology to just cut slivers of counties out, and we've really highlighted that narrow area north of US 24 and south and east of Ashcombe, where this confirmed tornado has been reported into the area and continues to move that way. We still are watching other storms into the area, and one thing I would mention is that these storms have quite a bit of rainfall with them. Flash flood watch does continue until tomorrow morning at least. You can see in all these green counties here, we may get another couple of inches of rain, and these showers and storms are prolific rainfall producers here. That's why that flash flood warning has been out and is out for at least most of the area except for Interstate 70. And then we still have the severe thunderstorm watch that continues until 11 p.m. tonight. All of those counties in pink. Again, it's about the same area. If you're under the flash flood watch, you're under the severe thunderstorm watch. This one goes until 11 tonight. Does not include our Interstate 70 counties, but at least the threat for strong to severe storms will be there across much of the area. We've been watching these storms. A lot of our attention has been focused on Iroquois County with the confirmed tornado reported moments ago near Danforth. Other storms, though, are moving into the area, including this storm out here near Jacksonville. As it moves off to the east, it will be approaching Springfield. In the storm tracker right now, we have both meteorologist Jack Gerfen driving and chief meteorologist Kevin Lighty. They're watching these storms and keeping us updated. Been a busy day here in central Illinois. Kevin and Jack, talk more about what your plans are, what you're noticing, and what the rest of the night will bring.
Yeah, so you've been focusing on that Iroquois County storm. Meteorologist Jack Gerfen here with us. Kevin Lighty here in the storm tracker. And we are actually tracking the storm coming in to Sagamon County. We are just northwest of Springfield right now. We are traveling along Highway 97, and we are getting in position here as that storm comes out of the Jacksonville area. This is going to be kind of coming right up into portions of Sagamon County, where this has a lot of wind associated with it. From Jacksonville to Ashland, those winds coming in there right now, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and they just put a very large severe thunderstorm warning on the cell here that's coming into the Sangamon County area. That severe thunderstorm warning for Chatham, Waverly, Auburn, areas there, Curran to New Berlin. All of those locations are about 15 to 25 minutes away from getting hit by this little cell that is coming in. I don't want to call it little because it is a pretty large system that is coming from Jacksonville and racing east right along I-72s. We have positioned ourselves right in the middle of that severe thunderstorm warned cell. You'll see some flashes of lightning here, and we're most likely going to get into some very heavy rainfall. So as Jacob has been mentioning there, he's been watching that storm. there up into Iroquois County that had the confirmation of a tornado there just to the east of Danforth now is where that is located. But we are going to be monitoring our storm here on the southwest end of things here. The one coming in from the Springfield area in the next 25 minutes or so. A lot of wind associated with that. And with all of these storms today, they have quickly spawned funnels. There have been tornadoes. And so it is something that we've got to carefully kind of monitor here, because anytime these little notches can develop within this line and can produce a tornado. So we're going to be monitoring things here for you on this side of the viewing area. We've got a large viewing area here to cover, but we have you from one side to the other. Jacob's going to talk more about that tornado warning that is in effect for Iroquois County here, and have the latest as we track that, and that cell that's up there northeast of Lincoln and in the Atlanta area. That's been showing some signs of rotation. As a matter of fact, that severe thunderstorm warning did have a tornado possible tag associated with it as well. So 3 different storms we're really watching: the Iroquois County, the one into Logan and up into McLean, DeWitt County, and now the one coming into the Springfield area that we're about to get hit with in the next 20 minutes with some very strong winds. Jacob, we're going to send it back to you in the studio for the latest on that tornado warning.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We did just get a photo into the newsroom of that tornado in Iroquois County. We'll have that as soon as we can, but while that storm is there, I do want to take a look at some other storms into the area. Of course, right now from Sibley to Colfax, Fairbury, Chatsworth, Roberts. A lot of rain, some lightning and thunder in that region. To the south and west, though, does appear to be a more substantial storm. And I'm growing more and more concerned of the signature south of Bloomington as it continues to show signs of rotation. We have no warning in the area, but we will monitor that. As soon as we get that photo up, if you can give me a thumbs up here from the floor, and just sounds good. Just let me know there. We will look at that photo and show you it here momentarily. They've got it behind the scenes. They're making some graphics and having that. We'll have that for you. But I do want to mention right now, this signature very much south and east of Bloomington is quite strong. If we can also bring the graphics full here, I think it's going to illustrate a lot more what's happening. The wind really picking up. So I think right now, even though there is no tornado warning in McLean County, Downs, southeast Bloomington towards Bentown Holder Road, you've got Myrna Road, the airport down there, areas south and east of the airport. This little area does have my eye for some strengthening rotation here. What you see is the reds are going away and the green is going towards. And right near Interstate 74 to the south and west of Bloomington, but halfway between the Downs exit and US 51 Interstate 74 exit, very much is a concern here. There's no warning. I still think, though, if you know folks in parts of McLean County, south and east of Bloomington, that'd be Downs, maybe the Tri-Valley School District. We've got to watch that signature really closely here. And if I flip over to my debris tracker, nothing immediately sticks out to me of concern in this area. What we're looking for in this is those deep blue colors to indicate that there's debris being lofted. Again, no warning and no immediate tornado warning now, and no tornado, but we've got to watch that particular area very closely here. We're waiting for the National Weather Service to update us on that. Further down the line, then, the severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Logan and western DeWitt and far southern southwestern McLean County does continue. This warning goes until 9 o'clock. The storm itself now near Atlanta has shown some surging winds now. The winds east of Interstate 55 will be northeast of Lincoln, near Atlanta, heading towards Waynesville and Midland City, north of Beeson on Illinois 10. A fairly rural area out there, but still an area we've got to watch and keep an eye on for our friends in western DeWitt County. We're watching all of these areas closely with this particular storm, and then we'll check back in, of course, with the storm that is down to the south and west, where Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Meteorologist Jack Gerfen are watching that storm. If we can also, if we can double box, okay, we've got the photo from Iroquois County. Let's go ahead and show you this. Oh, this is Mahomet looking north. I'm sorry. Was that what this was? You said 710? Okay. Okay, I see that now. I'm talking to the producers behind the scenes. This appears to be a tornado from a storm near 710 earlier. We're going to work and confirm this. This is not Iroquois County. I'm mistaken about that. I had the wrong information here in my hands, and they correct me behind the scenes. But still, this is an indication that these storms have had some rotation and have produced at least a couple of tornadoes in central Illinois. And so that's something we're going to watch again. This photo came in to us from Carissa. and we appreciate our viewers for sending that. We're particularly interested to see the Iroquois County storm, if our friends up there have any reports. I'm also perusing through Facebook and Twitter now to check for any information from that area. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics back full screen if we can, and eventually I'd like to double box. And we've got the Springfield camera on camera 1. We can show that, or we can do Kevin out in the field. This line of storms now approaching New Berlin and Waverly does have quite a bit of wind with it. In fact, there's the storm tracker now from that area. So we're watching this and keeping an eye on it, and we'll continue to do so here. In fact, there goes Jack in front of the screen, looking for more information now. Again, I apologize about the daytime Emmys. I understand we want to watch them. They're important. You know, people want to watch their shows. But at this point, with very much confirmation of at least several tornadoes now in central Illinois, and I'm checking through to see if I have any photos. I don't see any at this point. There was a spotted report, though, of a tornado in that area near Danforth. That does not appear to be on the ground at this time. But we're going to stay with coverage here through at least 9 o'clock and continue to do so. The latest update does have... all right, we got a new tornado warning coming. This is going to be for McLean County. We talked about that area of rotation. This is going to be for Downs, Bentown, probably Leroy and Aerosmith. That warning coming, there it is. You're seeing it populate now. Red line, center line, the city of Downs. Tornado warning goes until 9:15. This is our second tornado warning. We showed you that area of rotation here. The area of rotation now very close to Interstate 74 near US 150 to the east of US 51, that is. It'll be just to the south and west of Downs, we think, moving off to the east. Leroy, this includes you. Bentown, this includes you. This includes Interstate 74 between Bloomington and the Empire exit. That's US 136, south and east of Leroy. No travel on Interstate 74 in southeastern McLean County encouraged at this time. This does not include the city of Bloomington, at least downtown. It will include areas to the south and east. In fact, we look here, right out here is where the airport is. The airport sits here. You've got Myrna Road. Myrna sits up here. The airport road down to the south into 150. There's a 4-way stoplight there at 150 south of the airport. Going to include that. It will include the city of Downs. It will include the city of Leroy, also including Bentown now for this tornado warning. The newest warning coming across, moving to the east at only 15 miles an hour. Very slow-moving storms. The thing to note with these slow-moving storms is there will be a lot of wind and a lot of heavy rain here. These rainfall totals, I think, will likely be very impressive over the next little bit. So we're looking here for some debris. What I'm looking at on Debris Tracker, this is a look at how things are correlated in the atmosphere. We're looking to see if there's anything abnormal up there. When we see solid reds like this, an indication that we're dealing with mainly rain at this point. What we'll look for is when we have low correlation, objects are detected in the air with irregular sizes and shapes and not correlated with each other. You'll see these areas of blue pop out. If a tornado does touch down here, we would see an area of blue pick up pretty quickly, and that may end up being the case based on how we're looking at the rotation here near the community of Downs, a very populated area. A lot of folks live on 150 south and east of Bloomington. If we see that, that would indicate there's a tornado down. It would measure debris, trees, buildings, and whatnot. So we'll keep you updated. All right, we've got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty in the field. I'd like to toss to Kevin and talk more about what he's got out there. Kevin, been an active night. I know Jack's out looking outside. You're in the storm tracker. Talk to us more about what you're seeing over west of Springfield.
Well, yeah, well, I'm going to touch on that in just a second. Jacob, if you want to, pull up that radar back on that storm just west of Downs. What I was looking at here, it looks like there was a brief little TDS that did come up a few scans ago just west of Downs and just kind of southwest of the interstate. There was probably a couple scans ago, looked like there was a TDS. There wasn't much there. It's not a huge one, but there was a little bit of an uptick that kind of is co-located. It is rain-wrapped. It'd be a very rain-wrapped tornado there, but I think there was a brief little TDS that showed up. It seems to be spreading out a little bit more, but it all is co-located. I would not be surprised if there indeed was a tornado. That TDS, from what I can tell, was showing up, let's see here, right about north 1750 East Road and East 850 North Road is where I was seeing that that TDS show up on that storm. Again, that was just west of Downs a few scans ago. I wanted to talk about that because we're looking at that storm, and we're also looking at the storm that we are obviously on, which you're looking at. If we pull up our our camera view here, you're going to see the shelf cloud that is coming in from the storm. We are actually in northwestern Sagamon County, northwest of Springfield. We're along Highway 97, where we are just minutes away from getting blasted by the leading edge of the storm complex coming out of the Ashland area right now. Just kind of moved through Ashland, is heading through the New Berlin area, right along I-72, and this is going to be coming into the Springfield area. And this has quite a bit of wind associated with it. Winds there 60 miles an hour, probably between Ashland, New Berlin, coming out of Jacksonville right now. And again, we are just northwest of town of Springfield on Highway 97 there, kind of where 97 and 125 come together is our general location. And we're looking at the storm. You see some flashes of lightning that are showing up out here as well. And we're about to get hit by this. This is a wind producer. We've not seen any rotation with this. We're not seeing anything in terms of tornadic circulation, but this is a widespread wind damage event here for Sagamon County right now that we are monitoring. So we've got that storm, the new warning that Jacob was talking about there up in McLean County, where I think it looked like there was that little TDS a few scans ago that was west of Downs. And again, that storm up there seems to be kind of rain wrapped, okay? So you're not going to be able to see the tornado up there. So what I'll do is I'll let Jacob kind of look at that storm again. You might want to come back to us here in just a few minutes, because that storm is going to be right on top of us as that shelf cloud moves in. We're going to get hit by those 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll briefly send it back to you as we await the leading edge of this line to hit us.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We're going to leave this double box up with you. So if you want to keep your camera forward, that'll give me eyes on what we're seeing. And leave the double box. On the left side of your screen is a look from the storm tracker looking to the west of Springfield, that shelf cloud coming on in. Meanwhile, here, as Kevin was talking about that, I saw the same thing. It looks like we may have had a brief tornado touchdown, a little bit of debris lofted here. Notice, I'd like you to keep your eyes right here. This is near the Gillum Downs. Right about here sits Tri-Valley Baptist Church. This is Interstate 74. There's a bridge on Airport Road that you can cross to get to the other side, and there's a frontage road right along that area. Earlier, there was a little, very subtle decrease in correlation. And so focus your eyes right here. And when I bring this correlation product up, we do see that there's at least a few little pixels of yellow here. That's actually the latest update. Here you go. You can see right there where my finger is. It's just a little bit of that green and yellow, maybe an indication of at least a possible tornado touchdown then near Tri-Valley Baptist Church. Would be west of Downs, although the rotational signature maybe not as strong still in that area. So we're going to watch it closely and keep our eyes for our friends in McLean County. I do want to give some new information for our friends in Iroquois County. It's been a little while since we've checked in with you. The good news is, even though we had that tornado warning in Iroquois County, that warning has been canceled early. The storm has been weakening slowly. There still is a very subtle amount of circulation in that area, and the atmosphere today has just a little bit of shear, and so that's something we're going to watch closely, but we'll keep our eyes on it. But for now, all clear for Iroquois County for at least now. That could change as more storms move on in, and we see these storms pulse up and down. We will work to find out more information on that confirmed tornado near Danforth and see if there's any damage in that area. But right now, it seems like the most intense storms are now down by Morgan and parts of Logan and McLean counties here. So as I check some graphics and make sure I'm checking the social feeds, if there's anyone with reports from the Danforth and Iroquois County area, if you have power outages or anything like that, please let us know. We're live on Facebook. We can see the messages, and we can see all of those messages coming in. So thank you for those who've reported things and kept us updated. Again, the tornado warning for Iroquois County is no more. Let's check down this area of rain showers near Sibley up to the north towards Strawn. Strawn sits right here. There's the railroad track curve, the old Bloomer line that crosses there. US 24 and Illinois 47. Right here is where Forest is. There's Fairbury. There's Chatsworth. And then off to the east, Melvin and Roberts. A lot of rain in this area. I don't see anything right now that is concerning from this storm, but we know there is at least some wind shear there. And so we'll go ahead and just flip over to our velocity product. A lot of reds. That's good. Maybe some gusty winds with that rain, some frequent lightning as well north of Sibley and towards Cropsey, Strawn, and towards Chatsworth. We'll keep our eyes in that area. Really, the concern now is with this storm in McLean County. This is the community of Downs. And you see the latest update here. That circulation not nearly as evident over town, but notice these bright pixels of darker reds and pinks, an indication that we do have at least we do at least have some very strong winds here. That's likely 50, 60 mile-an-hour winds pushing out of this storm. The rear flank downdraft pulls out and around, and that still will lead to perhaps an area of circulation that still could develop here along US 150 near Downs and off to the east. The warning does include Leroy. It does include Bentown and Holder. It includes areas to the west of Ellsworth. This is going to be west of Moraine View State Park. In fact, a lot of folks at Moraine View State Park now probably taking advantage of the weekend to go camping and keep an eye on things there. So if you have anyone at Moraine View State Park, let them know that at least some very strong winds heading in their direction. We've already this month had a number of campgrounds and earlier storms get damaged, and thankfully we've had no fatalities, but this strong winds, perhaps as it heads towards Moraine View State Park, anyone camping there will want to seek a sturdier shelter. So we will put that notice out there, a very popular area to go here in central Illinois. This tornado warning will continue for the foreseeable future. Here we've got the warning in effect, and it's going to go until 9:15. If the warning continues, we will stay on through WCIX News at 9. If not, we'll do a commercial break and go back and cover things on that channel, just so you know, for housekeeping purposes. But I foresee that we'll likely continue coverage with at least a number of confirmed tornadoes in the area. This now is for south and eastern McLean County, including Leroy, Downs, Bentown, Holder, and areas just to the west of Moraine View State Park. There's Moraine View State Park, a very popular area. Spent many times growing up going there with my family to camping. A beautiful area. This wind and rain heading towards Moraine View State Park. Send a text to anyone you know that may be there. Say, hey, you need to shelter. Check out WCIA on digital and get the latest, because we really don't want to have to deal with any issues there. And that will be something we can pass along with news to kind of keep an eye on for that. More storms now in north and eastern Logan County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9 o'clock for northwestern DeWitt, southwestern McLean, and eastern Logan counties. It's with a 60-mile-an-hour winds and a tornado possible tag. Oftentimes, we have either a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. The middle step in there, is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. It means they're monitoring some rotation and continuing to watch it, but it doesn't look immediately likely in the next couple of minutes to drop a tornado. It's kind of the heightened awareness saying, this is a severe thunderstorm, but it may also produce a tornado in the foreseeable future. And so we're going to watch for that and keep folks in line here. Eventually, as this batch of heavy rain and storms moves to the east, Wapella, Clinton, to the south here, Beeson sits here. There's Barnett, Waynesville, Kenny, Clinton Lake, also downstream from this, the heavy wind and rain heading in that direction. Probably a good idea to give friends or people you may know at Clinton Lake a heads up. Camping there, my parents love camping out there. With more of this rain and wind coming there, we want to make sure we're raising awareness of that as much as possible. All right, we're going to check in here in the storm in Sagamon and Menard County. We've got Kevin and Jack in the field. We'll head to them here in a second. The leading edge of this wind and rain really showing some strong winds now in parts of Menard and Sangamon County. That's the shelf cloud that we've seen on the camera there. Of course, Kevin and Jack appearing to reposition and keep their eyes on things. You can see that almost backward C shape. That's an indication of some strong straight line winds heading towards Springfield. Of course, there's Kevin and Jack now. We'll bring them full screen and talk to them. There's Kevin right now. Kevin and Jack have been enjoying things. It looks like in the background, that corn really picking up. Tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing.
It is. We're literally, within the past 5 seconds, the winds have really started to pick up here. You might be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, winds are really picking up. We are just getting hit on the leading edge of the storm in Sagamon County right now. Let's see what it looks like here as we take our camera here in front. We are literally getting passed over with the leading edge of this, the gust front, you would call it here, as those winds will potentially be up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's why there's a severe thunderstorm warning. We are still here along Highway 97, just northwest of Springfield. And seeing that storm as it's coming in, we are just starting to get the rain and those strong winds beginning to pick up here. We're going to see what kind of winds that we think we're going to be getting here in the next a few minutes or so, but things are starting to ramp up even more for us, as you can see. And again, this is the severe thunderstorm warning cell that's coming in to Sangamon County right now. And Jack, here in just a bit, we're going to really see those winds ramp up.
Yeah, we've only have one microphone in here, but we've got the cornfield just to our left of us, and we've got as a car passing behind us. We're safely off the road right now, but we're starting to see the crops really swaying here in the wind. The rain is picking up, but the leading edge of the strong winds just about here, but the winds have not picked up yet to their full potential as of where we are right now. We're in the Bradfordton area, which is just to the northwest of Springfield. And again, this is our view out the front of the storm tracker right now. We've got some of the rain here hitting it. The back view looks pretty cool. It's in night mode right now, so it looks almost black and white, very grainy, but the dark layer on top, that's the clouds passing over us right now. And so we are just going to ride this storm out. And based on where we were when we were doing our weather radios, we had to be down here in Springfield. We could not get up to those other warnings up by McLean County currently, or the Iroquois County one earlier on. So we were just had to be here because that's where we were. But this line is pushing right into the Springfield area right now, and Sagamon County, as well as many other counties, are currently under this severe thunderstorm warning for it's 60 miles an hour and 1-inch hail. So it's your baseline warning here. But in the storm tracker, we've got again another view out the front there. But the rain really beginning to pick up here. The lightning's kind of fallen off, I would say, Kevin. But it's definitely gusty out here for sure. Not to severe criteria just yet, but the storm definitely is capable of doing that because there's a lot of energy to work with in the atmosphere.
Yeah, the storm that's coming in here into Springfield, Sagamon County here in the next few minutes. So if you're in Springfield, if you are in Riverton, Sherman, Rochester, on the south side of town, you're going to get that heavy rainfall. You're going to see those winds begin to pick up. Again, you're looking at our view from our camera. You're going to see the lightning there that's flashing every once in a while. It's a very large thunderstorm complex that's coming through. So we're going to just kind of wait this one out and then kind of track this because this storm's probably going to kind of hug right along I-72. Maybe eventually down the line, you're talking Decatur, you're talking Forsyth, Moreau, maybe southern Logan County and Mount Pulaski. So we're going to track this, follow it back, and keep you up to date on this storm because here it is right on top of us now in Sagamon County. Severe thunderstorm warning as our winds start to pick up close to 60 miles an hour with this. For now, we'll send it back into the studio. We'll keep you up to date on what we are seeing out here.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and thanks, Jack. Of course, there in the Bradfordton area, that's up to the north and west of Springfield, northwest side there, and there they are. Let's go ahead and bring me full here, and we've got on my right, your left side of the screen here. That's over here. This is the Springfield camera. I'm going to turn that in a minute, but we very much expect to see that there's considering a tornado likely in Iroquois County and at least a possible tornado based on radar in McLean County. That's our one tornado warning in the area, and our job is to stay wall-to-wall for tornado warnings across central Illinois, also monitoring an area of rotation near Lincoln. And then, of course, these strong winds coming into Springfield now. I'm going to pull the sky cam up, and then I'll do a little turning of it here behind the scenes. And if we can bring that full screen, I think that's going to show a better view of what we're looking at there. This off in the distance, very faint, but you can see that same shelf cloud that just rolled over them. We're looking off to the west, the Capitol at the bottom of the screen there. Now to the south and west, that's towards Curran and Jerome, on the south side of town in Springfield. And then moving off back to the other direction, that shelf cloud rolling on in. I think we'll keep this camera, there you go, lightning flash, helped illuminate. That's a sign of some strong winds coming into the city of Springfield of at least 50 to 60 miles an hour. Do have a report of power outages in Pleasant Plains in Menard County, and I'm expecting that this line of storms will produce more. So if we can from this point, I'd like to double box this camera shot, and that way we can watch for any surges in the electrical grid coming into the city of Springfield with strong straight line winds, and watching a number of these severe storms that have had a history of damage and even tornadoes in central Illinois. That's what we're going to watch here and continue to focus on for the future. All right, let's go back to radar and update on the severe weather. Again, a tornado warning continues for McLean County. We likely had a brief tornado touchdown in the city of Downs. I have no reports of damage from that. Storm spotters are reporting some strong winds and rotation in the Moraine View State Park area. We've mentioned that before. This storm right here really showing signs of surging out here. If you're familiar with Leroy, on the north side of town, there's the ballparks. You can head east on that back roads that parallels 136. That takes you towards Sabina and towards Bellflower. There's Illinois 54 up towards Gibson City. They're having a car show up there tonight. I'm sure they're watching the weather very closely. Their area of rotation is embedded within the rain here between Downs and Leroy. Not nearly as impressive as it was. The storm also moving very slowly, 15 miles an hour, and so it won't move all that fast. And now the National Weather Service does say that there is a tornado that touched down earlier near County Road 1900 and 1675 East, just to the west of Downs. We talked about that earlier. So this storm likely had a tornado earlier. I don't think now it does, but still it will have some very strong winds, and I anticipate that there'll be a new severe thunderstorm warning extended to the east with that. We'll take a look at that velocity product and show you inside the storm what we look at. Look at all these deep reds and pink colors here. Down in 136 south and west of Leroy, all of that strong wind blowing on through there, and that still may be enough where if there's a little spot of rotation, I tell you what, not that far away from Downs still at this point. It hasn't made much progress to the east. A lot of that wind will surge out, and your rotation can sometimes stay a little stationary. Though it is a broad circulation near Downs, I don't think in the near future likely to produce a tornado, but that can change, especially since I see some of these bright reds here south and east of Downs. There's a set of curves down south and east of town there, and that will surge to the north. So we'll still watch this storm very closely. We'll check in on our other storm in parts of Logan County here. The main event for this one is going to be the wind threat, and you can see here that wind in really wrapped up in the rain here. That storm surges off to the east. This will be coming towards Farmers City and eventually into parts of Champaign and Fort County here soon. Perhaps an indication with this big complex of storms, that backward C shape you see right here. The wind really starting to surge down 136. So heads up for Fisher, perhaps Mahomet, Rantoul, Gibson City, Paxton, perhaps even Champaign-Urbana. And then you see here the tail end where this one severe thunderstorm warning is. A lot of rain. In fact, there's the new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped in here for DeWitt, Macon, Piatt, and far southeastern McLean County for that surging of the winds moving off to the south and east. And so we'll watch this storm here and continue to monitor. I have no indication from the National Weather Service that they're going to adjust or extend the tornado warning. They say they're looking behind the scenes. That warning will either expire or be replaced by 9 o'clock. The plan will be, just for purposes, is that we will stay on WCIX for weather coverage and do some news there, but we'll go back to programming at 9 o'clock if this tornado warning is let go. So you'll want to flip the channel there. We will keep our digital platform also on, but with the history of tornadoes, we may very well have seen, based on some reports from storm spotters and storm chasers, a tornado in Iroquois County, a couple of tornadoes in Champaign County, and a couple of tornadoes in Macon County earlier tonight. And that's why we continue to watch this storms very closely here and monitor things closely. This new severe thunderstorm warning, though, that is issued is going to include Monticello, Allerton Park, Clinton Lake, Clinton, Maroa, Forsyth, areas to the east. It will include Mansfield. It will include Farmers City, and that's for 60-mile-an-hour winds mainly with the storm, as it now looks like from the National Weather Service and their warning, starting to see a bit of a south and eastward surge in the storm. And so that's going to be something that's pretty important to note here with that storm surging out, that heavy wind and rain now moving to the south and east at 25 miles an hour, picking up a little bit, and will continue to do so. So that's that new warning that's in place. I do want to mention again, back here in Sagamon County, we now have confirmation of power outages in Pleasant Plains. We also know there's a lot of straight line winds here. If we can bring the Springfield Tower Cam and double box that, I'd like to double box that and leave it there because I think we may be able to see something happen, and we may take it full screen also. So that's just a note for back behind the scenes. I'd like to double box the Skycam and myself here shortly and leave that rolling for us, because you can see that camera really picking up a lot of significant wind now coming into the city of Springfield. What I'm looking for is bright flashes, and that would be an indication that the electrical grid is getting hit by some strong winds and causing damage here, as this wind really now moving into west side of Springfield and the northwest side in particular. That's where Jack and Kevin are. We're scanning and continuing to watch it here. Those flashes, if they happen, there's a lightning flash there. I'm looking for a different type of flash at this point to be an indication of damage to the electrical grid. So we're going to watch that and leave that up. And if behind the scenes, if you can watch that also in preview for me and help me keep eyes on it, I'd like a second set of eyes here since we've got both Kevin and Jack in the field. I do want to mention as well the new update from the National Weather Service on our tornado warning for McLean County. They still indicate the area of rotation is near the community of Downs, if not just east of it, and they're going to keep that warning. Say that again? You're saying flooding with Kevin? Is that what you're... Flooding, okay. In Downs, you're saying? Yes, we still have that tornado warning. That's what I'm talking about here. Sorry, production relaying some information to me that's coming across. We still want Downs and Leroy's to stay in their tornado shelter here. Area of circulation very near or just east of Downs. It's slowly moving. In fact, tonight it really hasn't moved all that far here. And the reason for that, I'll show you real fast, is that we are watching this area of rotation that is surging ahead with the wind. And so what I'll do is I'll pop off my text data here and draw some arrows for you. This surging of winds here to the south oftentimes can spin up here to the north a little bit, and that's where we're seeing that area of rotation now between Downs and Moraine View State Park. They are continuing that tornado warning until 9:15. I expect by 9 o'clock we'll have an update, so that's a new update for us here. The tornado warning in McLean County will continue until 9:15. Again, I'm watching that camera in Springfield. If you're here on the floor, if you can also keep eyes on that, that'd be helpful for me, watching that camera right there and watching for any flashes. I need a second set of eyes on that for some wind damage likely coming into Springfield now. Now I got 3 sets of eyes over there. I appreciate it, gentlemen. We've got lots of folks behind the scenes that are helping out with this coverage today. Notice the surging of the winds here down US 136. Now it's at the 4-way stop southeast of Leroy. They've got the 4-way red light blinking. That's where that leading edge of wind is coming down 136 quickly towards Bellflower, eventually Fisher, but also the south and eastward motion here from this batch of storms now through parts of DeWitt, northern Macon, and Piatt counties. And we are concerned for wind now at Clinton Lake, for D-Land, Weldon, Lodge, Mansfield, Farmers City, Monticello, Allerton, Maroa, Forsyth, Friends Creek State Park also in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning, and we're going to watch that here very closely. I do want to mention a new alert just came on in. If you have the WCIA 3 weather app and you live in DeWitt, Logan, Mason, McLean, or Tazewell counties, a new flash flood warning has come on in. And boy, I tell you, I'm not surprised by that because of the way that these storms are dropping rainfall here. This is a look at our area-wide alerts. There's a lot going on. This green box right here, including Bloomington Normal, Hayworth, Downs, Leroy, areas north of Lincoln, areas south of Tremont, have seen 2 to 3 inches of rain within an hour or so. That flash flood watch continues. There's a number of watches and warnings and advisories out there. All of that information, if you're watching us on TV, is right here in the bottom of your screen. It continues to scroll and update as new alerts come in. It will let us know what's going on. And so you see that flash flood warning down in that area. I suspect that with the flash flooding from these storms, we'll see more of those alerts come on in as they're training over the same areas here and continue to do so. All right, the time now is 8:56. We're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Meteorologist Jack Gerfen in the storm tracker. I've seen the rain. I've seen the wind. You guys are now on that storm near Springfield. Tell us more on what's going on where you are.
Yep, we are here in Springfield now. We are pretty much back to Highway 4 there. And actually, we are going to be heading, we're going to get back ahead of this thing. We're going to head up there towards Mount Pulaski. And because there is the kind of see the leading edge of that from Sherman, just west of Riverton, is where you kind of got maybe some of the strongest reflectivity that's coming back here. So we are just getting ready to turn onto Veterans Parkway here, and we are on this Sagamon County severe thunderstorm warning that has been kind of moving through this area here. Strong winds possible with this as it comes through. And again, this whole thing is kind of oriented on this kind of southwest to northeast trajectory, and all of these storms along here seem to have tapped into a little bit of a boundary and been able to spit up some of that rotation, and that's what we've been seeing here. By the way, this is one of the longest lights
I would say, yeah.
I've ever seen as well. But here we are covering the Sangamon County storm as it kind of starts to move through. We had some very heavy rainfall, and Jack, as the storm is coming through, talk about what were the winds kind of like as you were just trying to drive?
Oh, I would say they probably got up to like maybe 35 miles an hour. So it was gusty, but nothing severe just yet. At least where we were, if we were to measure it. But they were definitely blowing around the crops like we were parked at. But yeah, not too bad just yet.
All right, there we go. Finally got the green light. So we're going to try to get back ahead of the storm and see what it does as it gets kind of northeast of Springfield, and is going to be up there, eventually heading towards kind of Mount Pulaski, the northern portions of Sagamon County, north of Dawson. So we're going to monitor that and keep you up to date on this part of the storm on the kind of western portion of our viewing area that we cover. But for more on the other storms going on, we send it back to Jacob in the studio.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We appreciate that. Seeing a lot of that rain come down here, and that's going to be the story for us moving forth. A lot of that lightning as well. These storms are very much prolific lightning producers. They'll be noisy. We think overall by about 10, 11 o'clock, maybe 11 midnight, the threat for severe weather will go down a little bit and will wane with time here. But right now we still do have a number of alerts in the area. The time is 8:58. We're watching this. A quick reset on what we've seen so far today. So far today, a tornado touched down near Danforth. A couple of tornadoes touched down near Mahomet. A couple of tornadoes touched down near Argenta. So far, no damage reports from that. We're getting now a tornado that's been reported near Downs. There's likely been at least some damage, though the heavy rain keeping crews from checking that area. We saw the damage in the debris on correlation coefficient, this debris tracker. A lot of heavy wind and rain now coming on through the area, and that will continue to push to the south and to the east. All right, the time now is about 8:59 here. The news starts now on WCIX. We're staying on WCIA, and the news is weather. I do want to mention our news crews have been making phone calls. We've got Jessica Coons in the studio. You've been calling and talking to folks. They've been letting us know what's going on. Talk to us a little bit more about what you've heard.
We've been calling places all over tonight, trying to see what people are seeing, what they're hearing during this severe weather event. We've been calling places near Downs. Rainy, windy, Old Town Tap and Restaurant. All of their customers are in the basement right now to stay safe from all of this. Pouring heavy there. Streets are flooding in the Downs area. Again, reports from other businesses saying lightning, raining, thunder. A lot of what we're seeing from Kevin and Jack in the storm tracker. A lot of what they're seeing in their area is the same as what people are seeing in the Downs area. If it is safe for you to go out and take a picture out of your window, please send that to us. You can email news@WCIA.com. If it is not, stay in your safe place. This is a picture that was taken earlier tonight, just after 7 o'clock. This was near Mahomet looking north. This picture came in on Facebook. And Jacob, we saw this picture earlier. This looked to be part of a tornado that was not the one in Iroquois County.
No, this the first photo you saw was near Mahomet at 7:10. We'll have to go back and look at that because these storms really haven't been too impressive on radar. But we've seen the circulations and we've seen the tornadoes. We did have some tornado warnings earlier. This was from near Mahomet. That next photo down the line was near Ludlow. And you can see that rope funnel cloud in the air there. A number of these photos have come on through. There's another vantage point of it. Our viewers have sent us these photos on social media and by email. We appreciate that, and we continue to watch these storms very closely here. Let's roll the next photo and get a couple of more in here, and then I've got an update for you if we've got them, and if not, we can come back to me. There we go. This was one that was near Dewey. It was the same one that dropped a tornado about 5:30 near Mahomet, and it's looking from Dewey off to the south and to the west there as that storm earlier came on through in Champaign County. One of at least what we think was 2 tornadoes in the area. This was the photo of the day, though. Came from Nicole and Mahomet, and you can see that clear touchdown of the tornado north and east of Mahomet. A brief touchdown, but still earlier today with what we've seen, the concern is that maybe tonight more wind and tornadoes may occur, and so we'll watch it here. And there's one last photo from Kelly in Ludlow. If you have any reports, please let me know that here in the region. Let's go ahead and go back to the graphics if we can. I do have an update, and this is going to affect our programming. The tornado warning has been canceled for McLean County. So our friends in the restaurant in the Downs area, the severe weather threat is over, though we still are watching damaging straight line winds carrying on to the south and to the east. And it's going to be for Clinton and Farmer City, Whiteheath, Weldon, Cisco, Forsyth, and Moreau. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. And so what we'll do is we're actually going to break away from our severe weather coverage since there is no tornado warning in effect now. And what we'll do is, if we can bring me full screen here, is we're going to watch this storm closely and monitor it. In about 30 seconds, I'd like to toss a commercial break. Then we'll We'll go back to WCIX News at 9, do our normal show there as much as possible. If you're watching CBS, we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, and that's the plan here for at least a while. If there is another tornado warning or an update, we'll cut into CBS if need be, but I'm optimistic that maybe the straight-line winds will be the main threat tonight, but there still will be a serious threat for parts of DeWitt, Macon, Piatt, perhaps eventually Champaign County as these storms move to the south and to the east, and of course the flooding threat will be substantial as well. We'll have more updates for you on WCIX News at 9 starting shortly here. We'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming on CBS. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey with updates on severe weather in central Illinois. Join us at WCIX News at 9 or come on back over WCIA 3 News at 10 on CBS. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
We continue to watch showers and thunderstorms pushing through the area. There are no active severe weather alerts from severe thunderstorms or tornadoes. There are some flooding concerns out there now. We can see on Storm Tracker Doppler over the last several hours, these batches of rain and storms pushing on through. They bring a lot of wind, and they've even brought a few tornadoes with them. A lot of heavy rain, though, the concern from this point now as we're watching with that. Let's zoom in a little bit and talk more about some of these areas where we're seeing some of this heavier rain. We're seeing a batch of heavy rain in northern Champaign County, right down US 136. That continues off to the west. I'll be watching parts of McLean, DeWitt, Piatt counties here, east of Clinton, east of US 51 for some gusty winds and some heavy rain as this line moves on through. This should be in Champaign before 11 o'clock here, I think, as it's starting to pick up in direction and speed a little bit. More rain and storms along Interstate 72 from Decatur to Springfield and then down to the south and west towards Carlinville, including Vernon, near Auburn, Pawnee, Curran, Loami, areas like that. But there are no active severe weather alerts with this. With all of the rain in the area, it does seem like it's becoming a bit of a heavy rain threat. We do have Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Meteorologist Gerfen out in the field. This is a look in the storm tracker. They've actually gotten ahead of the storms as they move to the east through Piatt County now. And so we'll be watching them very closely and keeping an eye on them. And their shot, of course, we've been monitoring things pretty closely here into the area. Let's go ahead and take the graphics full right now here in Champaign. We've got the sky cam up and we're looking at the temperatures out there. We're in max 2. Those temperatures are going to be a bit warm in spots out there. We're in the 70s. Those dew points right there with it. It's quite humid as well, and that's what we'll monitor here and keep an eye on with all of that humidity in place. That still may allow for a strong storm or two to form out there in some spots. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch for another 45 minutes. I don't anticipate this to be extended. It does include most of our area, and we did have a number of those reports earlier. Probably the bigger story now is the flash flooding threat from this. Flash flood watch continues for all of those same areas in central Illinois, and you'll notice here these flash flood warnings through tonight. We've added McLean, DeWitt, northern Piatt. This may very well be extended to the east. Ford, Champaign, Vermilion will watch, and then lots of warnings to the west as more storms roll on through here. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Strong showers and thunderstorms expected through midnight and a little bit later than that. Then the intensity wanes, the severe threat low again. It seems like it's a flooding issue, and that's because these storms are training over the same areas. We may get some 2 to 4 inch reports, if not higher, by tomorrow morning in these areas seeing that. Some spots have already had that out there. Notice by tomorrow morning, things looking a bit drier. The forecast will give us a little dry time with some scattered showers in the morning, but the chance for storms will increase into the afternoon as we climb back up into the low to middle 80s out there. Here's the forecast: 86 in Champaign, 87 in Monticello. I've got us at 85 in Taylorville, 87 in Sullivan, the high of 87 in Charleston, 88 in Greenup. Quick check at Future Track as we go into Saturday. Notice by the afternoon, some more showers and storms pop up into the region. Some of those could have some strong to severe storms with them. On Saturday, a level 1 risk. The same could be said for parts of the area on Sunday. And so we'll continue to deal with rounds of heavy rain on the 7-day forecast here, and that's going to continue moving forth. And some of that rain could be heavy at times here in the region. Here's a check at that 7-day forecast. Again, we may get some spots with 3 to 6 inches by Monday. Rain and storms continuing all the way through here, and it continues into next week too. I think the important thing to note, Jess, because we see rain every day, it doesn't mean it's a washout. There'll be some dry time. Check the app, check the forecast to get updates here into the region.
All right, and we've got a weather radio going off right now. I'm going to let you get to that.
I think it's going to be a flash flood warning. We'll let you know at the end.
Okay, well, that rolls into our next story here. We told you the NOAA weather radio for Champaign County is back online. The radio transmitter went up on our own WCIA transmission tower, and today WCIA meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Gerfen were at the Springfield Hyvee
That weather radio alert you heard at the end of the weathercast was for a new severe thunderstorm warning for areas between Decatur, Champaign, and Tuscola-Arcola. It will be for 70-mile-per-hour winds. The Decatur airport gusted to 68 miles an hour as this storm rolled on through. So a history of 70-mile-an-hour winds with this storm. This will be moving to the east towards Champaign, Pasodum, Tuscola, and Arcola by around 11 o'clock or so. We're going to go to our digital platforms and cover that. Another note here, the flash flood watch was just extended through Sunday morning. So we'll be watching that and have those updates on digital. Join us there in a few minutes after the show. We'll be watching behind the scenes, and if we need to, we'll be back on TV.
All right, Jacob, thanks. Have a great night.